Now, the way I read it on something I saw on YouTube is that physicist Feynman said that electrons do not move. Now, just assume, just assume that electrons do not move. Whether they move or not is not a question. Now, if, let us reframe the issue of discussion. If, 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 I'm not saying this is the case, but if electrons cannot move, what moves through a conductor that causes machinery to run? Now, if you have water in a pot, that water does not move out of the pot. You have to throw it out into another pot to cause it to move. Now, electrons are not like water that takes the shape of every container that they go into. But we know that when you turn on the power to a machine designed according to the principles of physics, when you turn on the power using electric power, that machine will run, all other things being equal. Now they say, let us look at the current like the water through a pipe. That's the analogy they give. Is it the current or the power? The energy. Not the power, the energy. Now water is a substance. Water by itself is not energy. In its stable state, water is not energy. Water is a solution, is a molecule, aqueous solution, kind of, right? We all know that. It can be steam, or it can be liquid, or it can be solid. So now, going back to the mechanical analogy, you have water in two containers that are separated or connected by a long pipe. Now, if that pipe is above the water level of both containers, no water will pass through that pipe. But the water is there. In early physics, there was no concept of quantum energies, quantum physics, whatever that is. Now they talk about quantum computers. I am not saying that I am correct. I think that's what Mr. Feynman said, that electrons don't move. Maybe I'm wrong about that. You can think of it, you can think of it as electrons moving or as the holes moving, right? It helps you to make sense of it. Now, do the planets move? Yes, the planets move. Does the earth move that you stand on? Do you know that it's moving? You don't know. Unless there is an earthquake or a tsunami or a hurricane, you don't know that anything is wrong. Now, is the electron like a person on the face of the earth that can basically move from one spot to the next? Now, what we see in our mind correspond to our senses. Like you can see a doorknob, but can you see an electron? Now you can see that doorknob, but that doorknob doesn't exist in your mind. Maybe the electron exists in our minds. Now, A, B, C to Z, do they exist somewhere physically or are those tools? They are tools. A, B, C, and Z are tools. Like a chisel is tool to cut into wood. A, B, and C, is the tool that helps us formulate language. Now, what I'm saying doesn't come from my mouth alone. If you take my mouth by itself and you have it move like this, you wouldn't hear any sound. What gives it the energy? The energy transmits, right? The energy transmits, and you're able to decipher that energy's meaning. This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong. Just assume this is totally wrong. Just see if you can follow what I'm trying to say. You learn it wrong, it's very difficult to unlearn it. I've had courses where the teacher wrote several things on the board and he says everybody did it wrong and he brought it back on the test and I did it wrong. Because I couldn't think where I was, right? That's why. You see, the tree, the wood, doesn't burn into fire unless the wood from the tree is ready to burn, right?